I don't know that it impacts it, Greeny, because they know they're going to get both guys back, and they have to build a team and make moves that are designed for the long term, not for a short stretch of time here. I think, listen, the Lakers have been active in the trade market, but I think for them, the buyout market after the trade deadline is where they could really impact, because then you're adding players without having to lose anyone in a trade or have to trade out assets. Certainly Andre Drummond remains a real big target for the Lakers. If he's bought out, doesn't get traded here between now and Thursday. But this is a Laker team that, all of a sudden, if you're the Jazz or you're the Suns, you're a 1-2 seed, and all of a sudden you show up for the playoffs and there's a healthy AD and LeBron in the 7th, 8th seed. That's not exactly what you imagined earning a 1 or 2 seed to get, but that's how this may turn out.
That's exactly right. That will be one of the fascinating subplots of all of this. Where do the Lakers wind up placing in the playoff positioning, and how does that wind up, for lack of a better word, just destroying the season of somebody else who didn't deserve it? Woj, outstanding.
The deadline approaches. Are there roster tweaks coming? I asked LeBron about what it's like to live through trade season last night. Take a listen to what he had to say.
Teams are always just trying to figure out a way how to get better, especially the ones that believe they can make a run for a championship. So that's the way it's always been not always, but for the last, 5 to 7 years, 10 years of my career, with the trade deadline and the buyouts and things of that nature. So it's 10 days. There's going to happen really fast, so we see what happens over the next 10 days.
So, Dave, look, it's changed. When he said, for the last 5 or 10 years, when LeBron started trade season, transactions were not as crazy, but they are crazy now.
Yes,
so who are the top trade and buyout candidates for the Lakers as we approach this March 25th deadline?
Well, I'll start by saying, based on the Lakers roster construction and where they're going to be at salary cap wise, it's going to be most likely buyout candidates over trade targets for the Lakers, because if they were to do away with some of their young talent in order to pursue a trade, they're going to be in a tough situation this summer moving forward. But let's start with 3 names. Andre